The roster has been cut down to 53 Pittsburgh Steelers. Ray Fittipaldo of the Post Gazette joins us now to get into it. Ray, brought to you by the Western PA Injury Attorneys, Larry Kelly and Joe George from LGKG, your home team. Good morning to you, Ray.
Good morning, fellas. How we doing?
Oh, we are wonderful.
Good.
Hump day, college football week 1, nice cool weather out there. It's the tops. Ray, did anything surprise you yesterday?
No, not really. If you look at it, and there's moves to be made here. Will Howard is going to head to IR. I think Dante Kent is going to head to IR. There's no way they're going to keep Dante Kent on the roster because they didn't get a look at him at all. So those are two moves to be made. So they only have 8 defensive backs on the roster now. So they're going to bring some guys back. I think Chuck Clark's probably coming back. Maybe James Pierre is coming back. And the other note is they kept 8 D linemen. So that might change as well. I cannot remember a time that they've kept 8. They've always kept 6 or 7. So unless they go to that Philadelphia Eagles model, which, listen, Andy could have convinced them that they want to have a deep rotation. But unless they're going to do that, I would expect there's another move to be made with those defensive linemen as well.
Did Beanie Bishop play his way out of the nickelback position? Did he get beat out, or was it a numbers game in regards to Beanie Bishop not being on this team and getting cut?
Yeah, I think unfortunately for Beanie, Dorin, that he doesn't play special teams, and he was basically the third-team slot corner behind Jalen Ramsey and Brandon Echols, and you just can't keep guys on the roster who don't have any kind of position flexibility. So he can't play outside. You don't play special teams. He's kind of one of these guys who has to be a starter or he's not going to be on a roster. Now, I would expect him to get on a practice squad. I don't know if it's going to be the Steelers' practice squad. But, listen, you go back to last season, he lost his job basically to Cam Sutton. And obviously they went out and recruited over him, during the offseason. So, bad break for him, but I'm sure he'll land on his feet somewhere.
How do you view this roster now versus a year ago at this time?
Yeah, it's interesting. I saw something this morning, and this is not a surprise, but they have the second oldest roster in the NFL. And, everything we've been hearing from Omar and Mike, since that playoff loss in January has come true. They said changes need to be made, and they made changes. And I think the most noteworthy thing is the age of some of these guys that they've added. Now, Aaron Rodgers is going to skew that a little bit, but Jonnu Smith, Jalen Ramsey, guys north of 30, they are going for it this year. There's no doubt they've broadcast that. They're not trying to hide it, but this is like a playoff run or bust type of a roster that they've put together here. And, we'll see if it all works out.
Receiver. Obviously, Jacoby Myers requesting a trade. We heard that the Steelers were that team that did try to ask the Raiders to take on some of that salary in order to trade for Jacoby Myers. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, he's a guy who played with Aaron Rodgers. He's on the block. Where do you see the Steelers going? Do you see them ending up with one of these guys at the end of the day?
Yeah, I would not be surprised at all if they do add a receiver here within the next week or so. I can't say if it's going to be any of those guys. I really liked Malachi Corley when he was coming out of Western Kentucky. I know some stuff has happened with the Jets that maybe he wouldn't be as attractive now, but, Aaron Rodgers played with him. So, whether it's Corley or any of those guys that you mentioned, Scantling might be a guy who is attractive to the Steelers and Rodgers as well. But you just look at the resumes of the guys after DK Metcalf, and this hasn't changed. I think Calvin Austin is a good 3 or a 4. Roman Wilson may be a good 2 or a 3, but we don't know. They don't have long resumes that we could say, yes, you're going to be that. You're going to have this role in this rotation. So I can definitely see where Omar wants to add. But, salary's a part of it. They're not going to overpay for guys. And, they're probably going to be looking to get somebody, not on the cheap, but, certainly not paying a full salary that the Raiders have for Jacoby Myers.
Okay, that's where I was going to go. So you don't think they'll be in the Jacoby Myers sweepstakes if there is one?
I mean, his salary was what, north of $10 million, right?
I think it's 10.5.
10.5. Yeah, I mean, I think they would probably want the Raiders to eat some of that, but we'll see.
Why? They got the cap space.
They do have the cap space, but other stuff can happen during the season. I think they're going to bring Chuck Clark back, but maybe you still have to go out and get another safety if it's not Clark. I mean, they always want to have some wiggle room there, and I just don't think they want to spend big on a receiver that they're not all that familiar with.
Ray, do you think the Steelers are one break away to being a Super Bowl contender this year?
They're kind of like the darling pick of some national guys. I saw somebody, it was Gronk. Gronk picked them to win the AFC North. So they are starting to get some attention like that. I still think, Dorin, that the AFC is so deep, and like getting past Burrow and Allen and Jackson and Mahomes, you would have to get like 2 or 3 breaks, right? Like you would have to win the North. There would have to be an upset on the other side of the bracket, and then things just kind of fall into place for you. Kind of like 2010 when the Patriots lost in the divisional round. So could it happen? Yeah. I mean, I expect them to be a playoff team. I suppose every Super Bowl team needs a break or two, but it seems like a couple of things would have to fall in place for that to happen.
So if Jacoby Myers isn't going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler, of the guys you listed before, the Valdez-Scantlings, the Corleys, Romeo Dobbs, I guess, could be part of that. Like, who would interest you most if you were Omar Khan?
Probably who Aaron wants the most, because that guy's driving the ship. So, Corley would be more like the Cordero Patterson type of a thing. And I don't know if they actually need that right now. Like, Kenneth Gainwell is going to have a role on this team. He's practiced with this team for the last 6 weeks. I think they like him. I think they want to use him. So maybe Corley's not the guy. Scantling, versatile receiver, has a history with Rodgers. I would probably lean towards one of those former Packers more than a guy like Corley, just because of what I mentioned. But we'll see if the Steelers pull the trigger on that. I know they really like the camp that Roman Wilson had. Excuse me. Calvin Austin they really like, but he's been injured. So they do like the guys that they have on the team. It's just that, they either haven't practiced a lot with them this summer, or they were injured last year, as is the case with Roman.
Ray, over under 8 carries for Caleb Johnson against the Jets.
I think I'm going to go under on that. I think people are going to be surprised how much they use Kenneth Gainwell early in the season, I think, guys.
Well, Dorin won't be surprised. We have a bet on this. I thought Caleb Johnson would get more, and the more and more we talked about it, the less and less I liked it. Now I'm at a low point in my life because I trust you, Ray, and this blows.
You don't trust me?
I do trust you. That's why when our conversation was going on, I felt worse and worse about it. With all your logic and reasoning, I was going on, uh-oh. And now I got Ray telling me that they are going to get Kenny G out there more than I thought. How do you think
He's a good player. He's a good player, guys.
Sure.
I mean, he had limited touches because of Barkley. I think with increased touches, I think people are going to be surprised at how good he is and how much the Steelers plan on using him.
All right, let's fast forward to the end of the year. How do you think they want their carries doled out?
I think if they have the lead in second halves, I think Caleb would be a good guy to go to, because he can, run that 4-minute offense, and he's a guy who said publicly that he gets better as the more touches he gets. So, later in the season, he gets more comfortable, gets better in pass pro, that sort of thing. Maybe they get more comfortable with him. So, I would expect his carries to increase. But Jaylen Warren is RB1 right now. Gainwell is 2. And I think the rookie's going to have to find that role. He's going to have to carve out his own niche based on his play.
How many fumbles before Tomlin goes with Caleb by Jaylen Warren?
Yeah, probably 2. I mean, it's probably a relatively short leash. This is a team that has to win with a certain brand of football. They don't want the ball on the ground. That was the great thing about Najee. Listen, Najee didn't produce big plays for you, but that guy was reliable. He was going to play, and he almost never fumbled. So Jalen has that in his history, so he's going to have to keep that ball tight if he wants to stay on the field.
Raymond, you are a gentleman and a scholar. We appreciate your time.
All right. Thanks, guys. See you next week.
Thanks, Ray.
You know what? Next time we talk to you, Ray, game week.
Yep.
How about that? All right. Thank you, buddy.
Thanks, Ray.
All right. See you.